I just talked to the team and told them I thought our defense played good football against a really good offensive team. They had a good quarterback. They got good running backs. They got good receivers. A score sometimes doesn't show. I was happy with the defense. I was happy with our special teams play. Not happy at all with our offensive execution. And we kind of strung our defense out and had them out there all day. So that's something I got to do a better job of and get fixed. And we'll start tomorrow morning.
We've got all of our writers online here. Brad, if you want to go ahead and direct the writers one by one, we're open for questions, please.
Coach, I know you talked about execution there. I guess, how does that actually get cleaned up, when we're out of game weeks?
When we're out of game week, we got better practices and executing practice. However you play on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is how you're going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about the defensive performance, 4 sacks in the first half. What do you think kind of went into that hot start for the pass rush?
Well, I think our front seven is the strength of our team, and they played like it against a really good SEC offense today. So, like I said, I mean, you can look at the score, but when you're playing, I don't have the stats in front of me, but when it felt like they were on the field the entire game, eventually you're going to give up a score when you're playing defense.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn has multiple really good players on that offensive line. For you to see the front seven go out and have that performance, especially like early in the game against that, how much confidence does that give you in that unit going forward?
Well, it's encouraging. Obviously, that's one of the better offensive lines we'll play all year. So for them to go out and play well against that group is going to bode well for the rest of the season.
Coach, you talked about third down conversions last week and having deeper third down plays. That was another issue tonight. What kind of needs to change for that to get better?
We got to be better on first and second down.
Yeah, Coach, early on in the game when it was just a 14-0 game, Kyle's fumble and Nathan's roughing the passer call were two big plays that were on Auburn's side of the field. How do you limit those kind of mistakes later on in the season?
Well, we can't fumble the ball. That's an unforced error on a pass attempt, and that was a terrible call on the roughing the passer, so I'm not going to tell them to play any other way.
Joey, I know we talked about communication during this season. A couple of those touchdowns just feels like communication might have been off, maybe misassignments. I guess, what did you see there and how do you clean that up going forward?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to miss an assignment here and there. And I mean, I was overall very happy how we communicated for the most part. Everybody was flying around and, we can clean it up in practice. And kind of like what Coach said, it starts on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for practice and just keep repping it. But, I'm very pleased in how we played, for about 90% of the game. But we can always get better week in, week out.
Yeah, Eric, you totaled 5 receptions on the game, leading the team. What's kind of the confidence there against a tough SEC defense and also kind of getting that connection going with Kyle?
It's good, each week we practice a lot and it just showed in the game.
For both players, you guys have your first home game next week. To you two, what do you think is the biggest area you guys got to clean up in?
Not beating ourselves.
Yeah, and going back to communication standpoint, just getting cleaned up throughout the week in practice, and we'll be perfect. Coach said it best. The front seven's played really well. Our back seven played very well. We'll just keep getting better week in, week out.
I do want to say, I talked about the front seven. I thought the secondary had played a good game on defense too. I'm not saying they didn't. They played much better than last week. We got over the top of some routes, made them hand the ball off. Just as a whole, the defense, honestly, I feel played good enough for us to have a shot to win the game if we did anything offensively.
Yeah, Joey, kind of like what Coach was saying, how the score doesn't represent how well the defense played. I know you had that forced fumble that you recovered, but the defense in general had five sacks on the game as well as 5 recovered fumbles. What kind of confidence does that give you guys as a unit moving forward that you can do it against a team of the caliber like Auburn, just moving forward to conference play?
That's a huge confident boost. Guys are getting better, and we can do it versus an SEC opponent, and guys will keep improving each week. And I was very happy with how everybody played. They played hard. They fought to the very end of the game. So I was very pleased.